With commentary and analysis on our hometown teams, this is the Bucky and Sully Show. Presented by Dave's Christmas Wonderland. 2 locations, Union Road, Cheektowaga, and Transit Road, Williamsville. Now, from the WBBZ-TV studio, here are Buffalo News sports columnists Bucky Gleason and Jerry Sullivan.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Bucky and Sully Show. I'm Bucky Gleason. I'm here with Jerry Sullivan. Just so you know, we're going to have Tracy Myers. She is from Comcast Sports Chicago. She's covering the Blackhawks Duck series, so she's going to be on with us in the second segment. We're going to get to Mike Babcock.
Have we ever had a female guest?
I hope so. I don't know. I haven't kept track. We probably should.
Just wondering, you know, a big stat guy. I think it's about time.
She's also a St. Bonaventure, very smart. St. Bonaventure graduate. We're going to get to Mike Babcock and we'll let Sully have his go on your little rant about hockey.
I'd say,
and the World Championships we're going to mention. We'll get into that a little bit.
Wait for that.
I'm sure you're excited, Sully. Well, first, let's talk about
great having so many of your stars overseas in Prague when they should be playing in the ultimate games in your league, like in the NBA, where all the stars are pretty much.
You want to just get into it right now?
That's all right. That's all right. You got me going.
I mean, I'll go there if you want to go.
Don't go there. Let's, you know.
I can. It's real easy for me to do it. I can flip right now.
You're getting worked up? I'm just saying.
What happened to the Clippers? I've been getting worked up about that. They were up 3-1.
I'm an honest guy. I overestimated the Clippers. And you know, as well as I do, because we do it for a living, we overreact as columnists. You always write at the extreme or often.
Yes, you do.
The Clippers looked great, and the Rockets looked like they were ready to be buried after 4 games. And that's when things tend to turn around. But I have to say, I did not expect that. But then when you look back and you watch the games, it's like one team made more shots than the other, and it was a real mismatch at small forward. The forward position after Griffin, they were a joke. Doc Rivers, you just saw, he was partly responsible. They did not address the forward position, forward depth to any great extent in the offseason, and they paid for it in the end. I mean, Matt Barnes, though, goes 10 for 40 in the last 6 games, averages 6 points a game. He's your starting small forward. Trevor Ariza comes in and he's making every shot. I mean, at that one position they got exposed, and it's too bad because Chris Paul and Griffin, people are going to question them as clutch players when you can't do it with 2 guys. There's a reason it's always the big three with the Celtics every time, the big 3 in Miami. 2 guys don't get it done alone.
I think it goes back to the 19-point lead that they had that they let get away. I mean, they let that happen. They lose that game in Game 6, and then they come back in Game 7. They're already in trouble. Sully, to me, it looked like, as much as anything, they were out of gas. You bring up Ariza. He was 6 for 12 from 3 in Game 7. He was the difference. J.J. Redick took 12 shots in that game. You know, you have to have more help on the perimeter if you're going to be the Clippers. As good as Griffin and Chris Paul, they were good in the series, and they were okay in Game 7. They just weren't good enough. And when you take combined 43 shots between those 2 guys, and Chris Paul goes 9 for 20, that is not helping your team. Those 2 guys, if everybody else is going to play soft, and they did, and they're not going to play well enough, then your 2 big guys, the 2 best players that you have, they have to be lights out. And they played well, but they didn't play great. That, to me, was really the difference.
Right.
And I still, you know.
You were right. I think they were a little tired. I think they had to use a lot of energy to get through San Antonio in 7 and to get 4 games in there. And I think they hit the wall in the game they blew the lead. They might have taken a breath because they needed it, and then that's when you can get in trouble. I
think your Spurs played a big role in this. I do, because that was such a great series and such an emotional series and intense series. I think that it's not just the physical side of that you have to overcome. It's the mental side. And after 82 games, it is a grind. People don't understand how hard it is. And then you're going to play 14 playoff games in the first 2 rounds. That's not easy.
Yep. And now I think we both like the Warriors, don't we?
I do.
Well, I don't want to look ahead. I've already said I don't think the Hawks can play with Cleveland. And I know we both have watched a little more closely. The stats have said it during the year. But you had to see with your own eyes. Golden State is a very good defensive team. They're not this finesse 3-point shooting team alone. They can lock people up.
No, absolutely. Here's where I run into a problem with Golden State, Sully, and that is with Dwight Howard, who
You mean with Houston?
What'd I say?
Oh, you mean against Dwight Howard?
Golden State's problem, they're going to have a problem with Dwight Howard. And as much as I think this guy is a career underachiever for somebody his size who should be absolutely dominating with his athletic ability, and I think he's soft in a lot of ways. Now they're in a situation where this guy, they have him in the conference finals, and we're going to find out a little bit about him. But if this guy shows up, he's a problem for Golden State. Bogut cannot handle him at the top of his game. I don't even know what the top of his game is because I don't think I've seen it yet. I know there's more there, but where is it? And that's my biggest beef with Dwight Howard.
They've got David Lee, they've got some bigs. Spates probably won't play, but this is a very deep team, unlike the Clippers, and I think they have enough fouls to give. They'll be able to put Howard on the line. Just make him shoot a little bit away from the basket because he won't do that. This is a team that has decided through their analytics department, their GM, they don't like the mid-range jumper. They'll kick the ball out to the three. So if they can just keep Howard from dunking, I think they can neutralize him to some extent. I think you're underestimating what Bogut can do as a defensive player.
So are both of these teams, you think they're going to come out and it's going to be a three-point shooting contest here? And you had a great stat. What was that? Share the stat that you had just before the show.
3-point shooting attempts regular season. I don't have that page open, but Cleveland was second. Houston shot more than any other team. And you thought it would be
That's remarkable. I thought it would be Golden State.
Golden State was fourth and Atlanta seventh. So that's 4 of the top 7 in attempting threes are in the conference final. Whoa. What's going on here? Maybe unlike hockey, they've adjusted their sport to make it more interesting and dynamic in the postseason. I don't know. It's almost like watching seeing the top 4 quarterbacks all around in the conference finals in football. Like, this is a very important thing right now, 3-point shooting, which drives the old guys nuts. I'm an old guy, but I've accepted that it's a different part of the game. There's guys out there that still want Moses Malone and McHale banging in the post and all that stuff. Where are you on that?
It's taken me a while to come around. I mean, when you see numbers like that at bear it out, you can't get away from it. You know, I like the old game, the old Celtics game myself, where, you know, you dump it into Parrish, Bird's going to hit the odd three. Where the games, you know, the 3-point, it was a bonus shot. I think that the line's too close, and that's what Bird actually said back in the day when it seemed so extreme. Bird's biggest problem with the line, even though he was the one abusing it as much as anybody, was that it was too close. I don't know if you bring it out anymore, is the court wide enough? You know, do you have to make it deeper? I don't know. I don't know that you need to do it. I don't know that you should do it. I thought the game was better back then, and they were certainly scoring more. So people can talk about defense and back then compared to now, whatever. Sully, quickly, we've got about 30 seconds. Just, if you can, go over the Cavs and what they can do with the Hawks. I'm not buying it.
I'm not either. I'm having a little Twitter battle with someone because I think Horford's very overrated. I know it's about threes. He doesn't get to the line. They're a little too much of a finesse team. And the Cavs' defensive numbers are actually better than anyone's right now. I think they're leading in the playoffs, which is, you know, when I was there in February, Blatt was talking about, we're a pretty good defensive team now, and they've locked it down. And again, you've got the best player in basketball who can defend every position. And without Kevin Love, no surprise they get better.
Well, that's the thing, too, is that at what point is Cleveland going to be exposed? You know, and sometimes if you take a player out of that and you kind of have to change the face of your team, you get better. I mean, they're faster now than they were when Love was there. They're running more than when Love was there. And I think overall team-wise, I don't know what the numbers show, but they haven't lost much rebounding. They're getting it done all the way around. All right, we need to take a break. We need to bring on Tracy Myers. First, we're going to go to our trivia question. You ready for it? You blew it already, so don't even try to act like you got it right. Blackhawks reached the conference finals in 3 straight seasons since 2000. How many other NHL teams have almost accomplished this feat? We'll have the answer in just a moment.